God thinks so well of me that Christ lives inside of me. That I that because
Eh,
Christ is his treasure.
yeah,
Christ, his son is his treasure, and he puts his treasure inside me.
right.
That what does that say about me
Yeah,
to God? It's wonderful.
yeah,
It's stunning.
yeah.
But you've never heard anybody say that before because they don't.
It's well, yeah, but I've heard all those verses, like I
Yeah.
have heard. It's hit me, but it doesn't land because the enemy is there going, there's got to be a different explanation for that. There's got to be,
Yeah.
yes, he's in you, but no, he's not. Yes, God
Yeah.
loves you, but no, he doesn't. And he can't put his treasure in you because you're, yeah, look at the stuff you do or the stuff
Yeah.
you've done or
Yes.
whatever. Well, that can't be quite right. Sure. And, the enemy's, yeah, he's clever and he knows it. He'll give you a little bit, just enough to confuse you, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He does. No, no, no. He does love you mostly. Or, sometimes, a lot of the times, just not always, just not when you're
Not good enough.
lustful
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
angry, or then he doesn't. But you're not that all the time. So when you're good, he does. And that's what he does. That's the trick. That's the flip. That's
Boy,
the
you
yeah,
you
that's
just you,
the
you just said some things that one of these days we'll take off on because
yeah.
they're wonderful subjects. But
Yeah.
let's take so I started on the top just there with that God's opinion of us is confirmed by the fact that he gave us his treasure.
Yes.
Okay, so we got the very best that God has to give. He's given to us to live
Yeah.
inside of us.
Yeah.
By the way, that's what grace is. Grace isn't all that other stuff they say. I've never
Yeah.
met anybody that knows what grace is. I mean, grace is not. Well, it is unmerited favor, if you want to say
Yeah.
that. But that's almost a disgusting definition when you understand what grace really is.
Mm.
Um, but the thing, let's go back now. Christ is the proof of God's opinion of us. And so, if that's true, then my next note, then Christ inside me is the proof of my health, of who I am. If I'm inside Christ
Mhm.
and I am sick, then he's sick.
Mhm.
So then, if he's not sick, then I can't be sick. The problem is, I'm sick.
Right.
What do I do with that? Well, nobody knows what to do with that is that anybody I've ever talked to. That
Mhm.
some people are just adamant, no, God says I'm healed, and they'll sit on that, even though they got all sorts of sicknesses. That's wonderful that somebody can be that determined that no, I know that I feel sick. I know that naturally I'm sick, but God says I'm healed, so I just say I'm healed.
Mhm.
That's to agree with God is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And in fact, there's a verse that is completely mistranslated and in Romans that tells us that just by simply agreeing with God, there is a benefit that is off the charts just by agreeing with God. We'll get to that.
Mhm.
It's in Romans chapter 8.
Okay.
Um, but the fact is that Christ is inside me. Well, then that means I'm rich because he's rich. That means I'm healed because he's healed. That means I'm okay. That means I'm safe. No matter what's going on in the world right now and all the threats and the terrorist threats and things like that, I'm inside Christ, and if he's safe, I'm safe. But what do I do with the threats? What do I do with the things that are hurting people that could hurt me today? I don't know what to do with it, but if I'm inside Christ as he is, I am too. So we've got to go back to what I said about faith. Faith is that God's words are fact. So
Yes.
we go to God's words and we say, these are fact. I know what my experience is. I'm not going to reject or deny my experience. I don't know what to do with my experience, but I am going to agree with God. This is fact, whatever the fact is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a starting place. Remember, we've talked about obedience. Obedience is submitting to hearing. And the
Mm-hmm.
submitting to hearing, as we read out of the Deuteronomy, um, is not just listening, but it's talking to yourself, telling yourself the truth. It's telling other people the truth. Because when you talk to other people, not only are they hearing it, but you're hearing it
Mm-hmm.
as you ponder it, as you meditate on it, as you make notes and write about it. Doesn't matter how
Mm-hmm.
you're submitting to hearing, and you, as a child you're absorbing it, even if you don't think you are, and those words are getting into you. And as you continue to regurgitate those words and talk to yourself about those words for the rest of your life, they change your identity. The identity you've had, you discover, wait a minute, I've heard God's words so many times, and now they're making sense like they didn't make sense in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
because he has a different paradigm than we do. And so we say what he says, and it doesn't always make sense. Sometimes it makes no sense. Sometimes it seems wrong, but I
Yeah.
know for a fact that's what God said. And
Mm-hmm.
I just keep going and over and over and over these things. I've been doing it for years. And it has, to the point now, I was just thinking the other day that there was a verse that I had been pondering for several years, and I knew that it was true. And I'm talking about pondering my translation of it, because I don't, even though sometimes you'll find a good translation of a verse, I stick with mine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'll translate it, and then I'll ponder it and ponder it. And it was just in the last week or two, there was a verse that all of a sudden it opened up, and it was real. I mean, it was my experience. It was
Yeah.
mine. That I owned that verse.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say that, and I'd throw this little side in there. People don't realize, if you got a child, that child owns you. You got a little 2-year old, a little 1-year old, your boys, they owned you.
Yeah.
They owned you, and they knew it. And they,
Yeah.
they and they one of the things that they try to learn to do is how to manipulate you. That's a challenge for kids, and you have to teach them the right and the wrong there.
Right.
Well, um, have you ever thought about the fact you own God? If he's your father, you own him.
For I've had moments where I thought it. It's not often, and but
You
yes,
you
yes,
own you own him all the time. I
yes,
own him. And so do the rest of us own him. But
yeah,
when we've been convinced through lies and misinformation and fake information and all this stuff that we've been peppered with for decades, all of us, we it's hard to grab a hold of a thought like that
yeah,
you own God. That's how much he loves you. He delights in you. But
yeah,
since we've been taught so much other stuff, that thought, if it even enters my mind, it goes right back out. And
right,
I imagine most people hearing me say that just now freaked out. But you have to understand, he's a daddy. He's a
yeah,
daddy, and all this stuff that you've been taught about him is just garbage. It's just
yeah,
garbage. It's stuff, and I know exactly where it comes from. Yeah, it comes from the devil, but I know there's a whole lot more to know.
yeah,
how do we get this body of knowledge we have that is wrong, but that we're so sure is right, we'll die to protect what we know and believe is true that's not true. Every one of us. And God, in his love for us, he's a teacher. And all he wants to do is just teach us and just teach us. Because when he teaches us and we get it, we got it. It's
Mm.
wonderful.
So, to get us back to where you were, you said, "What do we do with the threats?" You said, "What do
What
we
do we
do?"
do with threats?
Yeah, because you said there's people who just name it and claim it kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's like they just, oh, yep, God said that, so okay. But then there are still threats, and you were starting to kind of go down that road, and
Well, and what you said about name it, claim it, um, yeah, you could say that that's what I said. I mean, because it kind of sounds like that's what I said.
right.
And in a sense, you know, um, there's a validity in that statement.
Oh, sure.
It's just been so twisted, because it's used. Name it, claim it means you. It's mainly about money. You're
Yes,
going to get a
yeah,
new car or whatever. You just
yeah,
name it and claim it, and
yeah.
that's not what it's talking about. It goes back to Romans 5:17.
For if by the offense of the one death reigned through the one, much more will those who receive the abundance of grace and of the gift of righteousness reign in life through the one with a capital O, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah. So the first part, for if by one man's offense death reigned,
Hmm.
um, the word offense is really offensive.
Yeah,
The word offense in the Greek is pip. Well, that's
yeah, I see it. Paraptamati.
parapiptoma.
Oh, parapiptoma. Okay, yeah,
Okay, so if by the trespass of one man, this this is so distorted because God did not look at this as a fault. He didn't look at this as an offense or a trespass against him.
yeah,
He looked at it as he was walking along with his little boy holding his hand, and something happened, and his little boy let go of his hand and fell flat on his face. He tripped and fell.
yeah,
Okay, that's what that is saying. He
yeah.
tripped and fell.
Okay,
But I mean, that's what the Greek word says. It says fall from close beside. I mean,
yeah,
that's a whole different than doing something to offend God. Would you, if your little boy or girl falls on their, what are you going to do? You're going to reach down and grab them real quick, and if they're bleeding,
yeah,
but that's not what the church thinks. The church thinks that they did a terrible thing, and God was angry forever. And
yeah,
that's a total lie. That's a
yeah.
total lie, and yet that is standard Christian theology.